We will be discussing something about the care of the critical care patients, that is the trauma patients. We more or less care of the critical care patient is same as that of the normal patient that comes to us in the ICU, but there are certain differences we have in patient with trauma. Trauma patients may be associated several things like trauma patients are associated with hemorrhage and consequences of the post-hemorrhage resuscitation, like just uh, patient may have abdominal compartment syndromes as a result of the resuscitation. Patient may continue to bleed in the ICU, or patient may re-bleed also. Then the prime thing is that we have to look for the injury identification, that is prime for an patient with a trauma, because the most of the time injury identification is incomplete as we have been doing the resuscitation of the patient, isn't it? So the patient comes up to you in the ICU with still the things are left, like we have to investigate for the radiologically, find out the site of injury or the trauma and the site where the bleeding, so that we have to do the go on with the ICU care. Then they may require some multidisciplinary team force. We something is like damage control surgery, because the patient may come up to the ICU, to the emergency department with trauma patient. Patient may have to be shifted directly to the OT to do not the definitive surgery. It is damage control surgery. So there is again it's a challenge for the critical care, because the patient will again be after the OT also, after this patient is stabilized, again the patient will be may have to require definitive surgery. So the physiology also altered, and something is also there that the patient with the trauma patient, sometime when we discharge the patient out of the ICU, it may again require some readmission, and that becomes a bit difficult. The patient generally comes with the trauma with the patient is having hypoperfusion, hypovolemia, patient have hypothermia, metabolic acidosis, there may be tissue injury, tissue inflammation, the patient will end up with acute respiratory failure, multi-system injuries. The patient comes up with various problems, like may have orthopedic problem, may have vascular injuries, may have thoracic injury. If we consider orthopedic injury, patient may have this long bone fracture, it may require huge blood loss. Again, a hemorrhage is a prime concern. So we must ensure that patient who comes up to the ICU must have a good resuscitation. So we have to keep things very much um, active. Like we have to be our technical team ready. Our ICU intensivists should be ready, and our sisters, the sisters plays a very vital role. Should be quite ready with ready to resuscitate the patient. First of all, we are getting the patient. We have to patient hemorrhage. Make sure that the patient's hemorrhage has been controlled, and we have to correct for the acidosis. Patient uh, may have hypothermia and associated. So we have to maintain a normothermia. The patient may have hypocalcemia, hypothermia. Patient may have begun as a consequence of this thing, the transfusion protocol. We have to activate the massive transfusion protocol. Patient may have bleeding, so we have to be ready with the coagulation disorder also. That may coagulation defect in the coagulation cascade that may arise as a result of massive transfusion and all. Ideally, we may give this. We may have to give one component transfusion also, 1:1:2, in that case PRBC 1%, uh, FFP 1%, platelet concentrate 1:1 ratio. We have to maintain. The advantage is that it in case takes better care of the coagulation cascade. In fact, it is sometimes we have to be very much cautious because the patient may have defect in the coagulation cascade. Patient may have taken, because it's a trauma case. So trauma may be, the patient may be under influence of alcohol, any illicit substances. So we have to take care of that also. So that, and again the vital role of the nurses are there. They have to just take the patient, take care. We have to take a large bone IV access, and massive transfusion, as I have told earlier, should be activated. Then, and we have to look for the neurological status of the patient. Sometimes maybe patient may be having traumatic brain injury, so we have to monitor the patient neurologically also. After the initial stabilization, we have to look for the patients. We have to ensure that there is no injury or no part undetected from where the patient might have got injured. It may have to go complete tertiary screening within 20, ideally within 24 hours, because within 24 hours if we detect, then there is every likelihood the patient improvement chances increases. Now there is now we have to look for the systemic evaluations, like we have to see if whether the patient is undergoing ongoing hemorrhage also. We have to see whether what is the hemoglobin of the patient, and we have to do the serial measurement, not only in a single measurement or like that. We have to be keep on doing serial measurement. We have to look for the coagulation profile serially. As I have already mentioned, the patient may have altered coagulation profile. Altered coagulation profile may be because of massive bleeding, as a consequence of massive bleeding, or we may be giving massive transfusion also. The balance should be maintained. Now there is for drugs and any doses, there is no specification for that for trauma patients. Basically, we have to take care of the primary care, then we have to, rest of the things are all alike, just like other patients. But the things that is difficult, the patient is with the trauma, is the patient may have a neck immobilized, because with a rigid neck immobilizer. What we can do about it? Can we take it out and do it? No, we cannot take it out. We have to at least wait. We have to get a MRI cervical spine done ideally within 72 hours, so that patient may get what is the fault in there, or we can wait for 6 weeks and then we can say whether the patient can participate in flexion extension properly, so that we can go on for that. Now for the routine care of the patient, routine care means everything, from the oral hygiene. Sorry for interruption. We have to have a constant approach. We have to have the consultant physicians working together. Case management should be there, and occupational physical therapy should be there. And moreover, the patient that have been shifted with trauma should ideally be of utmost importance, as they may be goes into multidisciplinary. So orthopedic patient, we may have neurosurgical patient, care of the patient, and prompt control of the hemorrhage. Don't let any page unturned. Look for the tertiary survey of the patient, so that we can get at least overview of the sites or various where we can get and get the site of trauma and hemorrhages. So that's all for today. We will be discussing more on this later on. Thank you.